Oh, Brian, speaking of people that are looking for a new line of work or maybe have found a new line of work, we got to talk about the latest venture from our friends Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. And before we talk about actually what it is, they put out a video. Did you see the video, the black and white video with the kind of NWO style groovy vibe for all the young hipsters that are, middle aged and with it or whatever?
I made it about 10 seconds into that groovy video and I gave up.
No, I had to watch it. No, you should have, because it over and over. Folks, I encourage you again, seek this out. It's not catching. You can watch it and emerge unscathed. But it was, how old is Hulk Hogan? He's 70.
He's got to be at least 71, 72.
72. I think Eric Bischoff is around there. They were trying to act like they acted in the NWO videos, the black and white, cool, groovy videos, when they were, well, goddamn, 25 years ago, they were still almost 50. It was kind of ridiculous then, but now it's worse.
And by the way, the stars of those videos were Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. If you actually think back to those videos, who aren't a part of this. Yeah.
Because they were only almost 40, but nevertheless, they do
and
this.
Bischoff 69, Hogan 71, Bischoff 69.
There you go. Combined age 140, and these two guys are in the leather and the thing, and they're talking about how cool they are. They got something else cool coming up, and they're all cool, and they're turning their backs to each other. It looked like one of those goddamn movable bumper fucking spoofs on Family Guy.
Looked like they would text you for $100.
As a matter, well, it'd be 200 because there's two of them.
That's true.
But they're doing the quick cuts and the whole thing in black and white and doing this NWO style presentation about what they've got coming up. You'll never believe it. It's going to be great. And who's the third man? We got a third man. Who's the third man? That's the tease of the video. And I heard a lot of people on the interwebs where he was, oh, it's Vince McMahon. That's what Vince is doing. Vince is going to be the third guy. They're going to start a new wrestling promotion. I did not think that. I think, I thought they were going to announce a brand new fucking podcast or some shit, right? I didn't imagine that there would be anybody that would spend money on matching these two up with the product that it turns out that it is. And I didn't have any idea that their third man would be basically someone that nobody has ever fucking heard of before, but is probably the one putting the money in the thing. Or at least providing some conduit to this world. His name is Izzy, Brian, Izzy Martinez. And Izzy, so it's going to be Hokey, Eric, and Izzy, and they are going to be running Real American Wrestling.
No, that's not the name. Real American Freestyle Wrestling.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real American RAF, Real American Freestyle Wrestling. It's I can't even say this with a straight face. It's genuine amateur wrestling for a shoot with weight classes, just like they do in amateur wrestling, with Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff as the face of it. Does this write itself? It did not. It's not Kurt Angle. It's not Brock Lesnar. It's not goddamn. It's Hulk Hogan. Help me, Brian.
I don't know how to help you
understand.
Is this going to be Hulk Hogan's Wrestlelicious? I really don't know. Is it some guy with money who's just like, hey, I want to do something with real wrestling, so I'll hire Hogan and Bischoff? I have no idea. I'd love to know what went behind the decision making to pair these people up for freestyle wrestling. There have been attempts to do, I guess the best way to put it, professional amateur wrestling, going back to the beginning of professional wrestling. It's never worked out. And with the creative brain trust of Bischoff and Hogan involved, I can't imagine that this will work out well for the investors.
Well, that's the thing now. Hulk Hogan, hold on. I'm looking at one of the press releases, maybe press escapes. Hulk Hogan is going to be the commissioner, and he's bringing his decades of experience in pro wrestling to the league, where he has this incredible background in amateur wrestling and would know any fucking thing about it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not even like good guy Hogan. It's NWO Hogan. It's going to be heel Hogan as the commissioner.
But Bischoff is the chief media officer overseeing the production and storytelling aspects. Now, television production, he's had a lot of experience. I might give you that, but storytelling aspects. He couldn't book guys that were used to being booked. How's he going to book people who don't know what booking is? I'm serious.
That's a very good question. It's a very good question.
He's gonna, okay, now before you do your suplex and beat this guy from fucking Penn State or whatever, do the pose. And when he does the pose, the guy from Penn State comes up and fucking full Nelson's him. And
are they going to try to do promos? Are they going to try to do promos with these legitimate athletes who have never done promos unless they practice in the mirror because they're wrestling fans? They're just going to stick a mic in here. Chris Taylor, what do you think? I mean, what are they going to do?
Oh my God! Remember what happened when they actually did that after Vern broke him in? Poor fella. But now, and okay, so Hogan's the commissioner. Bischoff is the chief media officer overseeing the production and storytelling. They are aiming to infuse RAF with a blend of authenticity and entertainment.
Ted DiBiase is the CFO. What could go wrong?
There is no way to blend authenticity and entertainment by the very nature of each one of those things. And the third man is revealed to be Israel Izzy Martinez, a respected freestyle wrestling coach with a history of training elite athletes. So you can't make millions of dollars in that position. So there's some money behind this. I bet you Izzy is their conduit to the wrestling talent and or the money. And the first event, Brian, is going to be August 30th in Cleveland. Matches across various weight classes. Notable athletes such as Olympic silver medalist Kennedy Blades, whoever he is, and former UFC fighter Ben Askren. I've heard his name, and would he be closing in on 50?
Looking for work?
With potential appearances by Wyatt Hendrickson and Gable Steveson, who the WWE couldn't make television friendly. And they plan to debut a weekly show titled American Grit. I don't know, it sounds like either a cooking show or a construction worker show. On June 15th, available on streaming platforms and regional sports networks, and a pay-per-view event.
No, get out of here. No.
A pay-per-view event. Well, hold on now, cowboy.
I did not know this. This surprised me.
See, you got to get the real press releases here. July 4th, 2025 in Philadelphia. Pay-per-view declaration. See what they're doing there? July the 4th, Philadelphia. Declaration is the name of the pay-per-view. Fans eager for authentic matches and compelling storytelling have much to look forward to as RAF prepares to make its debut. It should have been Real American Wrestling, and it could have been Raw, because now it's RAF, and RAF isn't too far removed from Riff. So now we're just talking about Riff Raff.
The next pay-per-view will be in Boston. It'll be the investors' money tea party, where they just throw the investors' money over the boat into the water.
But in all seriousness, when you think of high quality amateur wrestling, the name of Hulk Hogan would be almost at the bottom of the list of anybody in the professional wrestling business. And I know for a fact from working with people who have been involved in all of these worlds that in the time of Hulkamania, actually, as it was happening, most of the amateur wrestlers hated him because it was the bullshit wrestling that they weren't doing, but these bullshit wrestlers were making millions of dollars. And it's just the idea that he can in any way relate to any of this and that somebody thinks that he's still happening in wrestling. Oh, well, we'll capitalize on this incredible role that the WWE is on and that, you know, the big rights fees and all this stuff. And we'll get not Steve Austin, but Hulk Hogan. I can understand if somebody went to Austin with this because he being himself could pull it off as a personality and with respect to what the other guys were doing, but Hogan is just going to be bullshit because that's what his DNA is made of, bull and shit.
And now he still wears the classic Hulk Hogan look, but his arms, although impressive for a 71-year-old, they don't look as impressive anymore. So now they're just like wrinkly old arms.
Well, we don't need to make fun of his, sagging physique. He looks like a deflated parade balloon. We don't need to say things like that. But the point is, that's why he's 70-something years old. He has nothing to do with amateur wrestling. They're trying to mix two worlds that are
they should get a heel referee.
Completely opposite.
They need a heel referee in amateur wrestling. We've never seen that.
No, you ask some amateur wrestlers. We've seen it a bunch of times. But ask Danny Hodge about that fucking time at the Olympics.
Did you see what Hogan said to TMZ about his history with legitimate athletes in wrestling?
I don't have the exact quote in front of me, and I don't want to fuck it up, so read it so we can all laugh together.
Okay, it's from an article I have here from Cage Side Seats, talking about examples of athletes who opened his eyes about the sky being the limit for amateur wrestlers. Here's a quote. I've been in the ring with some really crazy wrestlers. Like, I got Brock Lesnar right after he left the UFC. I got him first. I got Kurt Angle when his eyeballs used to roll back like a shark and he'd come after me. You know?
Oh, my God.
Benjamin Shelton? All these different guys.
No, what? Wait, what? No.
Yes, no,
he didn't say that.
Benjamin Shelton? All these different guys that I've had the opportunity to see adapt to our business. And I said, you know something? There's something there with these amateur guys. Like Benjamin Shelton.
Oh my God. He just But wait, he just had the epiphany. Hulk Hogan just had the epiphany that in the pro wrestling business, well, there's something we can do with these amateur guys. What the fuck? Jack Pfeffer would like a word.
And by the way, he never got Brock Lesnar after Brock Lesnar left the UFC. That's ridiculous.
Well, let's go down the line. Number one, he doesn't know what Shelton Benjamin's name is. Number two, Kurt Angle. I worked with Kurt Angle in Memphis for Randy Hale's Power Pro Wrestling before he had debuted on the main roster when he was still in developmental, and I watched his workouts when he had never debuted anywhere, and he was still working out with Tom Pritchard and Dory Funk Jr. And actually worked with him physically as a heel manager, and he was a babyface in Memphis. And he was always a great athlete and always all the things that we know that he was, but he never lost himself, and his eyes didn't roll back in his fucking head, and he didn't go into madman shoot mode. And he was pretty professional from the start and wasn't dangerous at all. And lastly, you fucking moron, Brock Lesnar right out of the UFC. Brock was the NCAA champion in the year 2000. He came to OVW. We trained him in 2001. He made his main roster debut up there, and I believe here late 2001, 2002, whatever it was, that's when he had his match with Hogan. He'd never been in the UFC. He'd never done a day of mixed martial arts. He had done amateur wrestling and tried to play a little football. No, he hadn't even played football at that point yet. So no, he wouldn't go to the UFC for another fucking 4 or 5 years, would he?
He didn't get Brock when he was fresh out of the UFC or fresh out of the NCAA.
He got him when he was fresh out of OVW. So he was the safest then he was ever going to be.
Well, that was one part of it. So he got Brock, he got Kurt, and of course, Benjamin Shelton.
Benjamin Shelton. Sounds like a stock brokerage firm.
That Hulk Hogan never lets you down. I have to say, every time he opens his mouth, there's some kind of crazy quote. And now he's going to be involved with amateur wrestling? Do you remember, like, in the 80s, and this is a long time ago at this point, in the 80s, like, Jeff Blatnick, who was a legitimate wrestler, he would, like, do appearances, challenge Hulk Hogan. Like, this guy says he's a wrestler. I watch him. He can't do anything. I challenge him to a legitimate fight right now.
The entire amateur wrestling community despised Hulk Hogan when Hulkamania was happening. And then also, let's not gloss over this before we move on to the next Hogan part of our story. Pay-per-view July 4th, 2025. Unless that's a misprint, that's in 2 months.
Yeah, how? That's...
And they're going to debut a weekly show on streaming and regional sports networks June 15th. That's in...
What networks?
Well, that doesn't say.
I mean, YouTube's a streaming network.
That's in fucking 5 weeks.
YouTube's obviously a streaming network that anyone can put their content on, but do they actually have a deal with anyone? Is someone paying them for this content?
They've just announced the thing is going to fucking happen. Now wait a minute. It says the inaugural event is scheduled for August 30, 2025 in Cleveland.
Maybe they mean 2026 for the paper.
Do they mean 2026? Is this potentially a misprint? Because none of this makes any sense. But okay, so then they're talking about doing a pay-per-view in a year. Yeah. Mark it down right now. Let's see if that thing comes off. That's got to be a misprint. All right. Some of these, you know what I did? I made the mistake. I got this off the Wrestling Observer news site. God damn it. That's the first fucking problem. All right. Let's get rid of that. But anyway, the last thing that we need to cover on the Hulk Hogan beat is, did you see that people lost their minds when he did some morning talk show? And I guess in honor of this announcement and his chance to, play beach party with fucking Bischoff again or whatever, he's trying to look younger. So he went back to the Hollywood Hulk Hogan beard of the NWO, where his goofy goatee is still blonde, but the sides are black and all that various thing. But since apparently all the source material has got to be gray now, if it's there at all on top of his head, he had to really do the shoe polish thing, and it looked odd. But people were acting like he came out and he had cancer or something. Did you see all the uproar of this? It made headlines. People concerned over Hulk Hogan's look and appearance. I thought, what the fuck?
Yeah, I saw that. That was the headline in the New York Post. And I was like, oh my God, what did he look like? And then I see it's just him with a beard. I'm like, oh, well, yeah. I saw that for several years.
He's always got some kind of goofy hairdo, and bad dye jobs are funny to look at, but not that fucking concerning.
It says something though about as big as the NWO got, the general public still sees Hulk Hogan as the classic Hulk Hogan, not as the NWO Hulk Hogan, which worked really well, spectacularly well for wrestling, but didn't necessarily cross over to mainstream society the way the classic look of Hogan did.
Well, yeah, because it was 2 years. If you think of Hulk Hogan, you think of 80s Hulk Hogan, rock and wrestling, that whole genre. And it's not like he does anything to play that look down. But yeah, in this case, he thought he'd have a more heelish edge, so he comes out looking like he fell asleep and fell over and chin first into an ink pad, and people think maybe they thought they were mentally concerned for him. They thought he'd lost his mind, not that he was terminally ill.
They would have only thought that if he came in and started telling the truth. Jimmy Hart should grow a beard. Jimmy Hart used to look so cool. He should grow a beard back.
But then he's got to dye the bottom as well as the top.
So what? He's doing it anyway.
Well, but then that's more time. And, shit, me and Jimmy's age, we ain't got that much more time. We don't want to spend time on doing things that we don't really need to do.
Me and Jimmy's age, he's like 15 years, 20 years older than you.
19.
He's 19 years. Wow. He's old.
Or is it 17? Wait a minute. I think it's 19. I think it's 19. But see,
wow.
That's, you know, he carries it so well. He's ageless and timeless.
Man, Hogan never lets you down.
Hogan's hopeless.
Anytime he opens his mouth, he never. Benjamin Shelton. What do you think Benjamin Shelton thought when he heard that quote?
Excellent comment.
Yeah. Superstar.
Thanks, Hulk. Well, you know, Hogan could have easily, Brian, forestall this not crisis, but this controversy over his health. He didn't. It was a self-inflicted wound. He didn't have to do it. He made the mistake. If only he had some way to just, before he did that TV show, remove the hair from some of his face so he wouldn't look so odd and bizarre and off-putting. But because he didn't know about our friends at Harry's, he went out there and made a dadgum fool of himself there on the national television. And folks, I would invite you not to do the same things that Hulk Hogan does. Don't lie. Don't take those type of vitamins. And do not go out on television or in public with shit looking like it's growing like a fungus all over your face and it's just out of control. There's a way around this. You don't need to do it. You can go to harrys.com. That's HARRYS.com. And our friends at Harry's are going to fix you up. They're going to fix you up. They're going to pick up your looks. Yes. Is what they're going to do. They're going to make you more attractive because they're going to make it easier and better for you to have a great shaving experience. And right now, they've got a trial set. You know, they got all the great products. They got the incredibly ergonomically designed razor that's such a pleasure to hold in your hand. They've got the German engineered blades with 5 blades in the cartridge that snaps right onto that bad boy. And it just shaves every single hair on your face or your lip or your chinny chin right off at the top of the epidermis there. It's a seamless transition. And they've got the incredible, high quality, richly lathering shave gel that they've got that smells so good. And you can get one of their trial sets containing all of these things. Normally it's $10, but right now you can get it for $6 at harrys.com/JCE. And then Brian, you can sign up if you want, and they will bring you these things to your door on a regular basis when you say, and it's cheaper than going to the store. You don't have to go through prying that burglar alarm thing off the cartridges. And when they bring you your shaving supplies, if you invite them in, I've found they will come up to the bathroom, and if they won't shave you themselves, they'll watch you shave. But you've got to be at least naked to the waist.
There's no one who will watch you except for you in the mirror, responsibly shaving. Harry stays out of the picture, but supplies you with the tools you need to fix yourself up.
Yes. And no, this isn't Harry that comes in. It's the delivery guy. But he said, look, I'll come up and shave you if you'll be naked to the waist.
Again, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You will shave yourself. The delivery, Harry's has nothing to do with the delivery people. They use couriers like every other business. And I don't want to have to be Harry's lawyer and get them out of trouble. I want to be able to tell the people the wonderful ways that Harry's can be there for you. It's a great razor. It's a great subscription. I have Harry's here for when I need to clean up.
What part of Harry do you have there?
I have his wonderful ergonomic, if that is indeed the word, a razor handle. Handle is the word. Handle for the razor. Jim, it's great. Tell them about it.
Yes, they've got a handle on the razor. So that makes it easier to grip. You can put your hand around it, then you can just wave it all around in the air and shave like you just don't care. And there is a box I think you can check on the website if you want somebody to come in and
there most certainly
go through the whole shaving process with you.
No box.
That's the thing. No box. No box. It's a
no box.
No box. Go to harrys.com/JCE right now again, folks, because that's where you'll get the trial set for $6 that it normally sells for $10. That means you're saving $4, and well, that's just swell. And you'll get a travel cover on the razor because these things are sharper than a mother-in-law's tongue, and they could slice and dice you. That's why they put the travel cover on it, so you can travel around with it. Travel around with these things in your pocket if you're in a bad neighborhood. And if some son of a bitch comes up and starts trouble with you, you whip one of these razors out of your pocket. And you say,
let's not.
I'll fucking shave you with my Harry's razor if you don't fucking back off, motherfucker.
I think we should focus on.
I'll cut you.
No, you
I'll
will
cut
not.
You long, wide, deep, and repeatedly.
Once again, Harry's Great Razors for you at home in your bathroom doing your thing with your shaving. And the outside world is another story. Let's talk about inside, indoors, in your skin, getting rid of that hair with Harry's.
Yes. You see it all the time on the news. A lot of these people fending off attacks on the street with a Harry's fucking razor with the 5-blade cartridge. Because the people know that those Germans make sharp blades.
You don't see this, but we can say that Harry's does make a sharp blade. These are great razors. And once again, without any further trouble, Jim, how can the listeners get this great deal?
They can go to harrys.com/JCE. That's what they can do.
That's right. Nice and easy there at the end. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, this one grandmother whipped it out of her purse, and these two fucking guys ran down the street.